researcher, whether she's putting those talents to use on behalf of the Geological Society, or the Library at the Discovery Center, or our own little outfit here. Much appreciated. Now, normally for the annual meetings we have a speaker, but she discovered these films, made some of them here locally. It was just amazing. Some of them were saved by absolute sheer luck. The first, as you can see today, is Deschutes Driftwood. Yes, it was filmed along with Deschutes, at least in part. It was made in 1916, which makes it just over a century old. And it was made just a few years after the railroad barons Harriman and Hill had the Deschutes Railroad Wars coming down the Sherman County side, one down the Wasco County side. It was in 1908, 1909. This is 716. And one of the things you'll also see is the bridge at Wishram, which was pretty spectacular as you actually go over the bridge. Okay. Also, I should note that all through these, it was a different world a century ago, and you'll find some derogatory terms for people of other persuasions, as they say, that are not politically acceptable these days. We do not in any way endorse any of those. We're just presenting a historical record here. So, yeah. The second one is called The Sergeant. It's from 1910, and it was lost for 100 years until someone found a copy in New Zealand and restored it. So that's pretty interesting. And those will be followed by two groups of shorts, one talking about Native Americans in newsreels, and this has some newsreel audio. Most of the rest of them are silent. And you'll notice you read the program, it's all in chronological order. So the oldest one is from 1898, which makes it 119 years old. Pretty amazing to think about that. So it all works well. We'll start and enjoy. Sorry, wait for you to sit here. I'm sorry about that stuff below. Can't do it. The commentary says this part was filmed in a different river because the water was way too cold. That's an order. The Native Americans and New Trail section. Already done, is that good?
Flashlight.
Oh, that was editing.
The Indians are coming. In fact, they're here. Camped right in the shadow of the nation's capital and demanding a new peace from the white man's lawmaker. Educated delegate Trujillo has a tale of grief to tell.
Mr. Senator, Congressman, we are here in Washington representing 12,000 Pueblo Indians living in New Mexico. We come here to tell of actual conditions existing in New Mexico regarding encroachments on our land and injustices against our rights. We trust that a fair consideration be given all our problems and justice be given us.
The Red Brothers decide that an old-time Western serenade might influence Congress to make up its mind. It's a simple, primitive protest against the loss of their vanishing frontier, and they want Uncle Sam to do something about it.
The mighty waters of the Red Man's Flathead are harnessed to make a Niagara of the West. Power, now 77,000 horsepower, soon 154,000. A torrent of water even higher than Niagara itself. It's the rainbow's pot of gold for Kootenai and Flathead Indians. They've been promised $7.5 million for the tribal lands on which the project is built. So Folsom Dam, now Kerr Dam, in honor of the man behind this construction, is open for business. More power to the west.
Redskin fishermen from 5 tribes are mighty busy making what may be their last call at historic Solilo Falls. The building of Thornville Dam may have a disastrous effect on the salmon, and end forever this picturesque privilege granted only to Indians by special government treaty. Vanishing salmon for the vanishing red men, winter food for the tribes, and the braves make the most of it. catching 60 tons per day.
3/4 of the Earth's surface. It is the most important of all substances, for without water, all life would cease. All water originally comes from the ocean and eventually returns. Water evaporating from the ocean falls to clouds. Clouds are vast traveling reservoirs that carry water all over the globe. Commonest of all the clouds are the billowy cumulus clouds floating about a mile high. Cirrus clouds are the highest clouds, averaging about 5 miles above the earth. They are the feathery fair weather clouds, often seen on summer days. The nimbus clouds are the thick gray rain or snow clouds. The Sierra Nevada mountains act as a natural barrier to clouds, which when striking the cool air strata, precipitate their moisture in the form of snow. Crowned by towering Mount Whitney, highest peak in the United States, the Sierra forms a source of water supply for the city of Los Angeles. Winter has come, and the Sierras are blanketed with snow. Blinding blizzards reign. The mountains are wrapped in storm-swept clouds. The snow piles deeper and deeper in gigantic drifts, storing the precious moisture for the future use of thousands of people in Los Angeles, farm to south. Majestic mountains are mantled with fresh, wind-drifted snow, as the people of Los Angeles, 300 miles away, are basking in a semi-tropical winter sun. Spring is here again, and from the retreating snows, yielding to the warming sun, countless rivulets spring, growing larger and larger, bubbling their way along, cascading down over rocks, sometimes splashing in the sun, and then again pausing in the shady pool. Spreading their tortuous way down the mountainside, they sometimes plunge hundreds of feet in roaring falls. Pausing occasionally to rest briefly in countless beds of sapphire, the water forms the beautiful lakes of the high Sierra. Here is the vacation playground of the West, fisherman's paradise, where man may forsake the cares of the world amid the grandeur and peace of nature. The icy waters are stored in natural reservoirs before continuing their ever downward course. Huge glaciers in the dim past carved out the beds of these alpine lakes that form the never-ending water supply of the city of Los Angeles. The water, ever restless, tumble down gigantic steps, then peacefully rest again in quiet lakes before the downward urge again ceases. Arms for water flows, growing large, fed by smaller streams along the way. Underground waters emerge from springs of crystal clear water. The raging torrent finally reaches the valley below and joins the Owens River, winding its peaceful way for miles down the Owens Valley, framed by the awe-inspiring range of the Sierra Nevada. Formerly, these waters were wasted in the saline bed of Owens Lake. Now the enterprise of man has harnessed the river and diverted its course through the world's longest aqueduct for the benefit of the thriving metropolis far to the south. The waters are permitted to pass into the mouth of the great municipal aqueduct built by the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power, which is to safely lead them on a long journey to Los Angeles. For 61 miles, through desert wastes, the long hillside, this great channel that carries over 500 million gallons daily winds its way until it empties into Hayrie Reservoir. Hayrie Reservoir is the first great storage basin along the route. It controls and regulates the flow southward to the city. More than 7 miles in length, this great reservoir can store over 19 billion gallons of water as insurance against periods of drought. South from Hayrie, for a distance of 135 miles, through conduit and tunnel, crossing deep canyons and huge steel siphons, the aqueduct continues its way over the mountains to Fairmont Reservoir. Here the water is halted briefly. We put to work manufacturing its most important byproduct, electric light and power. From Fairmont, it may be temporarily diverted through the long snake-like pipeline into Bouquet Canyon Reservoir, to be held in storage until the increased demand for water or electricity must be met. From both Bouquet and Fairmont reservoirs, the waters may pass directly through the municipally owned San Francisco power plant to supply light and power to the homes, stores, and factories of Los Angeles. For over 3 days and nights, the water has steadily moved on its 240-mile journey through the aqueduct, across mountain ranges, desert wastes, to its resting place at San Fernando Reservoir, where it awaits distribution to all parts of the city. From San Fernando Reservoir to Los Angeles Harbor, 45 miles away, the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power operates a great city-owned distribution system which spreads out in a vast network over 342 square miles of area to bring an unlimited supply of water to thousands of homes, offices, and factories that make up the great city of Los Angeles. 65 reservoirs and tanks store 17 billion gallons of water ready for instant use through 3,800 miles of pipe. Enough water may be stored in these 60 reservoirs to supply the city for over 1 year. Numerous pumping tanks utilize local groundwater and serve the higher elevations of the city. One of the important uses of water is for fire protection. Adequate water supply and pressure, so vital in fighting fires, are maintained in all parts of the city. The San Fernando Valley was formerly a semi-arid area covered with typical desert vegetation. Since its incorporation within the city, municipal water system has served this purpose. With an abundant supply of municipal aqueduct water, vast areas have been converted into suburban homes, gardens, fruitful farms, with all the comforts and conveniences of the city, and thereby building up the background which is so necessary to a thriving economy. In this rich, fertile valley, with an ideal climate, its many varied crops and unfailing water supply, a few acres intensely cultivated mean independence and security for its happy inhabitants. With an abundant supply of water at reasonable rates, many homes in Los Angeles are equipped with swimming pools, fish, lily ponds, bird baths, and other water effects. In Los Angeles, spacious lawns and shrubbery are the rule rather than the exception, and people of modest means are increasingly utilizing water as an ideal landscaping medium. Restful, shady pools enhance the ground's medical, and garden fountains by the finishing touches to any garden or family. Los Angeles is known as the city of beautiful homes and gardens, an ideal climate, together with an abundant supply of municipal water at reasonable rates, combines to make Los Angeles the garden spot of America. Water literally is the mainspring of all life. Every living thing depends upon a constant, never-failing supply of water, or it quickly passes out of existence. It can exist many days without food, but without water, it expires within a few days. In the days of Los Angeles, sleepy Spanish Pueblo, it depended upon the Los Angeles River as its sole source of water supply. As the tide of population moved steadily to Los Angeles, farm science civic leaders headed by William Mulholland built the Owens River Aqueduct to bring the pure mountain water of the Sierra. And thus, the magic touch of water has transformed the semi